Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. On today's episode, I got to talk about Vucevic tying his career high in points against the Golden State Warriors. And then I got to bring it up. Why are the damn Bulls so inconsistent? They drive me crazy. But y'all already know. Before we talk about it, y'all got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode for me and my co-host, C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, ensure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Last night, man, yesterday afternoon, it was NFL playoff football. But, man, did the Cognac gang still show up to support the Chicago Bulls, even though they've been having our blood pressure rise just about every other game. We get 2 or 3 games to where we feeling groovy, and then after that, we get like 3 or 4 games to where we mad. We ready to fire the coach. We ready to trade all the players, and then we got to come back down to earth after games like last night against the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs, the Chicago Bulls. They are now 20-24 after beating the Golden State Warriors 132-118 in convincing fashion. I gotta keep it a buck. We thought it was gonna get ugly for the way the Chicago Bulls have been defending lately, but as C-Dub pointed out on many occasions, you'd be surprised. They lost the game against the Wizards, then they might come out and just beat the defending champs in convincing fashion. And that's exactly what happened. But before we get into the inconsistencies on how consistently inconsistent this team is, I want to talk about Nikola Vucevic tying his career high, being a dominant force against a small ball lineup in the Golden State Warriors. Man, it was a sight to see, and that's something that we've been calling on for a very long time, for a few weeks, for months now, like feed Vooch, play out Vooch, run the offense through Vooch, and guys got to move around. Guys got to move the basketball and do what they do to support this man and to put yourself in better position to win ball games. You want to make life easier for you as a basketball player, especially when you got decent. I feel like the Bulls have a good team. I wouldn't say they're a bad team. They just inconsistent. I believe the talent is there. They have been playing bad. I'll say that. The talent is there. They have not been playing up to par. That's what we can say. We don't know if they have good or great, but they definitely haven't been that for so much of the season, bro. But anyway, back to Vooch. My man tied his career high in 43 points. My man scored 12 of the Bulls' first 24 points on 5 of 7 shooting, finishing 18 of 31 from the field, 5 of 10 from the 3, giving you 13 rebounds and 4 assists. My God, no matter who they put on them, they had Looney on them. They had Draymond on them. The other guys was getting switched on them like a lamb or, you know what I'm saying? And they couldn't pretty much stop him. And that's I feel like on most nights, Vooch can do that. On just about every night, Vooch can do that, especially with how teams play. You know what I'm saying? And we just want to see it more. One thing that was kind of funny to me is when Billy Donovan was like, yeah, I think we need to play through Vooch a little bit more. You think? You think? We've been telling you this. I know you don't listen to us. I know you don't listen to this channel. I know you don't listen to other channels. But, man, on Shy Boys Podcast, we've been telling you to play through Vooch. I got my man Terry Crew in the chat going nuts every time y'all don't play through Vooch. I got him every time going nuts. For real. So, play through Vooch, man. But shout out to the Chicago Bulls, man. They moved the ball last night. They did what they had to do. They moved the ball. They took care of the ball. They only had 10 turnovers on the game, while Golden State had a total of 23 turnovers. These guys scored 19 points off turnovers, and we was pretty damn good. We had 12 steals. We kept the rebounding close, 38-40. So we lost that by 2. But other than that, man, we was pretty good. And it's crazy because the Warriors, they shot 41% from the 3 while we shot 38. But at the same time, ain't none of it matter if we forced them to 23 turnovers and was able to take advantage and win in convincing fashion. So shout out to the Chicago Bulls for doing what they were doing, man. And I believe one of the another key cog in this all of this was the transition. The transition points look like they came pretty damn. I'm not gonna disrespect the Warriors and say they came easy, but they made life a little easier for the Chicago Bulls. Guys getting out, opening the open floor, pushing the pace, moving the ball around. When things got tight and they seen that it was a mismatch on Vooch, these guys were able to feed Vooch inside the post. And then Vooch, I would say Vooch is a good passer. You know what I'm saying? On most nights, he can make most passes. So, it was shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? I know it only say 4 assists, but I believe that if you're looking at it like from another perspective, he got hockey assists too. You know what I'm saying? The ball went out to somebody else and then it moved on. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get credited for that assist, but he was responsible for some of the things that went on last night. Hey man, the congratulations on pushing the pace. They know the Warriors want to play fast. And the Bulls play fast themselves. And shout out to them on the defensive end, because when the Warriors, the type of the offense that the Warriors run, they want to run a free-flowing offense to where the ball is constantly moving, players are constantly moving. They want easy shots, they want open threes, all that stuff. The Bulls, they had active hands, and they were able to get into some of those passing lanes that the Warriors normally make passes in, and they were able to deflect some passes, get out in transition, and finish the buckets. So kudos to them, man. And shout out to, shout out to the team for feeding the high hand. And that's what needs to happen more often. And I also, with them feeding the high hand, I believe Billy Donovan needs to ride the hot hand longer in most cases. I believe early on in the game, we seen some really good stuff from Patrick Williams. Billy Donovan, at the 8-minute mark, he snatches him out. We're like, what are you doing? Me and C-Block, why you pull him out if he just, I think at that point, P. Will scored between 3 and 5 points. He was making an impact. You know what I'm saying? So why would you pull him? He's a young guy, 21 years old. These guys can play an extended, minutes, and you can adjust along the way. You know what I'm saying? I understand Billy Donovan want to stick to his rotations, and I'm, but at the same time, if a guy has it going, let him ride it out. So that was Patrick Williams, but then later on in the game and throughout the rest of the game, he let Kobe White cook. He let Vooch cook. And shout out to Kobe White for that third quarter, man. That third quarter, Kobe White was putting on a show, going in and out behind the back, taking Wiggins to the right, and then finishing down the lane with the left. And, bro, shout out to Kobe White, bro. If the Bulls don't know what they need to do with him, they definitely need to. I believe Kobe White should be a part of this future, bro. That's just there. I got to say it here on now. He's been off the bench. He's been the most consistent. Off the bench. To me, better than Dragic. Dragic had a great start early on, but Kobe White has been good. I would say maybe like the first 2 weeks he was a little rusty, but then after that he's been grinding, and the defense has been stellar all year long. If the offense isn't going for Kobe White, you could tell that he's worked on his dribble. You could tell that he's more engaged defensively. You could tell that he's trying to get others involved. So shout out to Kobe White. I think he should be a part of this team moving forward for sure. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, why are the Bulls so damn inconsistent? To be honest with you, I think that the message from the coaching staff is just not always registering each game. And then when it trickled down to the players, I think that the players need to also uphold that message. You know what I'm saying? If you want to have a good cohesive team, I believe that it starts from the top, but it has to be maintained at the bottom. So if your stars, they're not coming in and forcing the message that's being handed down from the coaching, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So these guys, these vets, you know what I'm saying? Like Dragic, Levine, Vooch, DeMar, they need to uphold whatever message is being preached in there, and they need to, take advantage of that too. And then I also believe that the Bulls are inconsistent because of the lack of leadership. I think there's a lack of leadership when it comes to certain things. I don't think Billy Donovan is a bad coach. I wouldn't say he's a great coach though. I believe he's right there in the middle. He's good. He can be good. On some nights you see great things. On other nights you be like, what are you doing? And that's fair. You know what I mean? That's fine. In most cases, that's fine. Sometimes you're going to have a bad night, but on too many occasions, we call Billy Donovan like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's a lack of leadership, and that's the same thing when it comes to the message. I think from the top down, there has to be some accountability being placed out there on players. You know what I'm saying? I believe if the players are not enforcing the game plan that you have, you gotta get in their face. I'm not saying disrespect the grown men because they are grown men, but you gotta hold people accountable. Like, yo, move the ball. Yo, do not go down on this possession without Vooch touching the ball again. None this quarter or none this half. Feed Vooch first. Let him touch it. You know what I'm saying? Or however, whatever your game plan may be, that's how you got to rock with it, and you got to enforce that, and the players have to believe. Everybody know that championship teams are built when players believe. The players have to believe in what you're saying, and they have to buy in. If there's no buy-in, there's no championship, there's no contender, there's no contention. So these guys had to do it. And I still think that the Chicago Bulls lack an identity for my final point for why the Bulls are inconsistent. I think the Bulls are inconsistent because they lack an identity. I don't believe that. So what we want is definitely not what the coaches want. You know what I'm saying? We say the offense should flow through Vooch, and there should be ball movement and player movement. But on many nights, we see that there's DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine doing this tug and pull type of mechanism to where it's messing up the chemistry of the team, or the offense is looking pretty damn stagnant or whatnot. And I also think they need to figure it out. You already over the halfway mark of the season. You definitely ain't got a lot of time left to turn this around. You know what I'm saying? And before yesterday's game, they were 11. Let me check and see where they at now. But at the end of the day, these guys, they got to be better. That just is what it is. You need to decide on what you're going to do. Are you going to be an offense that runs through Vooch? What are you going to be? You know what I'm saying? And I believe that the role of these players need to be identified as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, the role of these players need to be identified as well. That's just what it is. You can't have guys who's supposed to, you know what I'm saying, be role players feeling like they could be the man. But you can hold other players accountable, like Patrick Williams, for an example. You could definitely sit there and tell him, like, bro, each game I need 10 shots. And if you don't get 10 shots, we're going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That's not hard. You know what I'm saying? So they need to figure this out, because the Chicago Bulls are now 10th in the East. They're back in the play-in. But the Bulls, they need to go on a nice little run, especially with the schedule coming up, bro. Y'all. The schedule starts in Paris. Well, from here on out, we moving on to Paris. Then we got Atlanta. Then we got Indiana. Then we got the Hornets. Then we got Orlando, the Clippers, the Hornets again, Portland, San Antonio. Bro, those are winnable games. All those are winnable games if the Bulls lock in. But I'm not going through that again. Y'all ain't going to make me look like no damn fool. So, hey, before we get up out of here, hey, y'all just make sure y'all hit that comment box. Let me know how y'all feeling about all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, man. But, hey, before we get up out of here, we still want to thank USI over here on Shy Boys Podcast for sponsoring this episode. My guys over there, they still looking to fill position in CNC milling, late operations, and setup. If you're looking for a career change in the Chicagoland area, go ahead and send your resume to this email below, dome@unitedstandards.com. Let them know the Shy Boys Podcast sent you. Definitely talk about that competitive pay, and great benefits, and 401k sharing, and let them know we sent you over there. We know some people over there, so when y'all send a resume, just let them know your Shy Boys Podcast, sent you over there. But hey, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. So every time we drop, you'll be the first ones to know. If you want to leave us a text message, we back rolling with the equipment. We good to go to edit and do the voicemail. So hit us up on that number, 773-242-9219. This is another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac. Gang.